Welcome to Under Two Capes News. I'm Jared, and today we have some Transformers news to show y'all. So let's get to it. Let me share my screen. All right. So we are talking about the first look at Mirage. So obviously it's confirmed that Mirage is going to appear in the movie. So what we have here. So apparently Mirage is the one that's going to turn into a Porsche instead of Jazz, which that's interesting. It's an interesting choice for a vehicle mode for a Transformer. I find it kind of interesting how they changed that. This is what he used to turn into in G1. So it's also confirmed it's taking place in the 90s. It's being filmed in Canada. But yeah, so two ports. So I think what's happening here is that this is a scene where like Mirage transforms, first scans his form, because why would there be two identical vehicles? Normally what happens in a Transformers movie is that there's two vehicles. One's the original vehicle. The Autobot like covertly scans it, transforms near it, and then just drives away. So I think that's what they're showing. At one point, there's going to be an Autobot here. Then what we see here is that in a post on the Transformers World 2005 forum, she says that Anthony Ramos, who plays Noah, was accompanied by his little brother in the movie. He was going to an appointment with a boss for a job interview. Okay, I'm not going to that. So let me see. Little brother was dressed in Denver, an ear from Nike boots or by the way, so this is what Mirage. They called him Dino or Mirage, whichever one of those. This is what he turned into in the Bayverse movies, which I liked. The Bayverse movies, I think, were interesting because they progressively got worse after 3. Because I'm of the opinion that 1, 2, and 3 were good as popcorn movies. You just go there. You want to see explosions. You want to just relax. They're not really thinking movies. Then like 4 happened where they left VFX out. Like there's actually, if you look at the scene where the TRF, actually not TRF, where I think it's called Cemetery Wind or something like that, the CIA unit that's hunting Autobots, where it goes after Ratchet, and they have this scene where like in the back of the van, there's like all these TV screens. If you look at the TV screens, a lot of those are like, they still have the green screen in them. I'm like, who was not watching this? And then they left the Sears Tower in Hong Kong. Sears Tower is not in Hong Kong. It's at that point, it was like really like surprised. And then Transformers 5. All right. They do something which I think is the dumbest decision they could have made, and they retcon it so the Autobots were always here, effectively retconning out that awesome arrival to Earth scene in Transformers 1 where the Autobots crash land in protoform pods. And I'm like, what did I just watch here? I'm like, see, you were always, oh my gosh. The Bumblebee one I could understand. If they had just left it at Bumblebee was here the whole time, then fine, I can get that, because we really didn't know until that point, unless you read actually we did. If you read the Transformers comic book, that was the prequel to the Transformers 1 movie, it shows that he had, I mean, it doesn't exactly show that he had just gotten to Earth. Actually, it kind of does, because we know that Megatron was the first Transformer to reach Earth because he crash landed, and he crash landed like, I would assume it's pre-World War II, because they show Bumblebee in World War II. Yeah. Well, anyway, if they had just left it at Bumblebee and just said Bumblebee was here the whole time, he was like a scout agent, maybe Hot Rod. But then they have like in the artwork that they like montage to in that scene, they have like Ironhide, Optimus. In other words, Transformers that we just saw crash landing in modern times for 2007 in pods. I'm like, what just happened here? Anyway, that's why I feel like they're doing movies like Bumblebee and all that to like retcon out a lot of this in the movies, because I see that in Bumblebee, what they tried to do is they tried to keep it moderately close to the original movies, because Bumblebee transforms into the older Camaro, but Optimus Prime is on Earth at this point. The Autobots are on Earth. So I feel like they're trying to like reboot it to like combine it with with the Bay continuity and the G1 continuity. And then apparently now we're getting Beasts, and we talked about it earlier. It's pretty much a Beast Wars movie. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping to get a trailer soon so Lana and I can react to it. All right. That should be that's about it. I think that's a good enough time for a news episode where I do solo. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We do have, by the way, we just put up last night, yesterday, the first episode of our X-Men series that we started up. It's gonna be an X-Men lore series, kind of like our Under Two Capes podcast, where we talk about like storylines, characters, and other sort of topics on the X-Men. Anyway, so check that out, get those view numbers up, and we'll be sure to do more of that. Anyway, stay heroic.